The battlefield of Turvash 9 was a graveyard of broken metal and broken bodies. The alien girl, Zara of the Kothari, crouched behind the shattered husk of a tank beast, her claws gripping her bloodied spear. She was young by her people's standards, only 20 cycles, but she had already seen more battles than she could count. Zara had known warriors her whole life. Her father had been a warlord. Her mother a duelist feared in 3 systems. From the time she could walk, she had been taught to fight, to harden her heart, and to carry the honor of her clan into battle. And yet, for all her training, for all the blood she had spilled, nothing could have prepared her for the strange figure she now saw moving across the ruins. He was a human. The Kothari had fought humans before. They were clever, resourceful, and infuriatingly hard to kill, but they lacked the size and natural weapons of her people. Most Kothari considered humans weak, useful as allies, dangerous as enemies, but not impressive as individuals. But this one, he moved differently. The human strode across the battlefield as though the chaos around him meant nothing. His armor was battered and scorched, his rifle slung across his back, and in his hands he carried only a combat knife, bloodied but steady. His dark hair was matted with sweat, his face streaked with dirt and ash, but his eyes burned with a calm intensity that made Zara's chest tighten. She whispered to herself, "What kind of warrior walks like that?" Moments later she had her answer. A squad of enemy raiders spotted him. They charged, 6 of them armored, clawed, howling for blood. Zara braced herself for the human's death. No one, not even a Kothari duelist, could survive being surrounded like that. But he didn't die. He moved. The knife flashed like lightning, cutting throats, severing arteries, ducking under strikes with impossible precision. He disarmed one alien with a twist of the wrist, impaled another, and used the corpse as a shield against incoming plasma fire. By the time Zara's heart had finished a single pounding beat, the 6 were dead, and the human was still standing, barely breathing harder than before. Zara felt her claws tighten on her spear. She had known warriors all her life. She had fought beside the strongest of her people. But she had never seen one like this. And fate, as it often did, would throw them together before the day was done. Middle. Zara met him not long after. She was cornered, her spear snapped in half, a plasma burn searing her thigh. 3 enemy raiders had her pinned against a crumbling wall, their weapons raised. The first one never saw the knife that buried itself in his neck. The second turned just in time to catch a human boot to the chest that sent him sprawling. The third managed to fire once before the human tackled him, slammed his head into the ground, and finished him with a single, efficient strike. Then the human turned to her. "You can walk?" he asked, his voice low, steady. His accent was strange but clear. Zara blinked at him. No introduction, no boasting, no demand for gratitude, just a question. I can stand," she admitted, pushing herself upright, though pain lanced through her leg. He offered his arm without hesitation. "Then stand. We're not safe here." She stared at him. Among her people, warriors proved themselves with speeches of honor, with threats and declarations. This man wasted no words, no movements. Every breath was focused on survival. Still she took his arm. His grip was firm, warm, steadying. "Your name?" she asked as they limped together through the ruins. "Elias," he replied. "I am Zara of the Kothari," she said proudly. He only nodded. "Good. Let's keep moving, Zara of the Kothari." As the hours dragged on, they fought side by side, scavenging weapons, avoiding patrols, and cutting down enemies when escape wasn't possible. Zara learned quickly that Elias was unlike any warrior she had ever known. Her people fought with rage, with passion, with glory burning in their hearts. Elias fought with silence. Every strike was efficient, every choice deliberate. He never wasted energy, never took unnecessary risks. But what unsettled her most was his calm. Even when they were surrounded, even when plasma bolts burned the air around them, his eyes never lost that steady fire. "Why are you not afraid?" she asked him once, after they had barely escaped an ambush. He glanced at her, a faint smile touching his lips. "Because fear doesn't help me keep you alive." Her chest tightened at his words. She had fought beside warriors who sought only their own glory, who would leave a comrade behind to claim a better story of battle. Elias wasn't like that. Every move he made accounted for her survival as much as his own. Confused her. It stirred something inside her she didn't quite understand. That night, as they sheltered in the ruins of a collapsed tower, Zara found herself watching him as he cleaned his knife by the firelight. "You kill like a predator," she said softly. "But you protect like something else." "Why?" He shrugged, not looking at her. "Because I promised myself that if I survived this war, I wouldn't let anyone die near me if I could help it." "You owe me nothing," she pressed. Elias finally looked up, his gaze steady. "Maybe not. But you're alive, and that matters." Zara didn't know what to say. For the first time in her life, she felt small in the presence of another warrior. Not because he was stronger, but because he was different. Ending. The battle for Turvash 9 reached its peak the next day. Enemy reinforcements swarmed the ruins, determined to crush the remaining resistance. Elias and Zara stood together at the barricade, side by side. Her leg was still weak, but she held a scavenged rifle. Elias stood with his knife and a stolen plasma pistol, his eyes never leaving the horizon. "They will come in waves," Zara warned. "We cannot hold them all." "Then we hold as long as we can," Elias said simply. The first wave came. Plasma fire roared. Zara fired until her rifle overheated, then switched to her claws. Elias moved like a storm, cutting down enemies faster than her eyes could follow. The second wave came. They were pushed back step by step. Zara was bleeding, Elias was limping, but neither gave ground willingly. When the third wave surged forward, Zara thought it was the end. Too many. Far too many. But then, over the horizon, the banners of the Kothari resistance appeared. Reinforcements. The enemy, caught between two forces, broke and scattered. The battle was won. Zara collapsed against the barricade, gasping for air, her chest heaving. Elias knelt beside her, his hand steady on her shoulder. "You live," he said simply. She laughed weakly, her fangs glinting. "Because of you, human. You fight like no one I have ever known." He only shook his head. "You fought beside me. That's why you're alive." Zara studied him in the fading light. She had known warriors all her life. Loud, proud, brutal. But Elias was something else. "You are unlike any warrior of my people," she said softly. "And I will not forget you." Elias gave her that small, steady smile again. "Good. Then maybe one day we'll fight on the same side again. In a battle that doesn't try to kill us both." For the first time in her life, Zara, daughter of Kothari warlords, felt something stir deeper than pride or battle honor. She felt respect. She felt hope. And as the stars burned above the broken world of Turvash 9,